And then, sitting there at number 3, Pottsboro. And all due respect to our friends in Pottsboro, but this is a bit of a surprise to us. I think that this was a squad we thought would be good. We knew they had a great quarterback in Zane Pritchett. I was a little wary of what they had around him. But and honestly, last week on Fixin' to Pick'em, our weekly pick show for high school football, I actually picked against them. I picked Callisburg to beat them. Now, Callisburg came in unbeaten. They ran the ball very well. I thought, okay, here's where it comes to an end for Pottsboro. It's been a nice run. Pottsboro, but Callisburg's here to bowl you over. 56-7 later, and Pottsboro is 7-0, and they look like a buzzsaw. They have been fabulous, and it's not just Zane Pritchett. Now, we'll talk about Zane Pritchett a lot because he's really, really, really good. But that defense is outrageously good. Their defense has given up 36 points all season. In 7 games, they've given up 36 points. And I bet Coach Matt Poe, is angry about those 36 points. In fact, let's ask him. Coach Matt Poe of the 7-0 Pottsboro Cardinals join us here on DCTF Live. Coach, you've given up 36 points this season. Are you angry that you've given up 36 points this season?
Well, I don't know if angry is the word to use, but we'd like to give up 0 for sure.
Coach, coming into the year, we knew that you had one heck of a quarterback in Zane Pritchett. And he's really been fabulous again this year. 13 touchdowns passing, 13 touchdowns on the ground. Nice combination. Has he exceeded even your expectations this year?
Yes, he has. He was a really good player for us last year, and he's that much better this year. He's just, I guess, that extra year of maturity being a senior now, man, things are really coming easy for him.
He has really been dynamic. A really outstanding player there, but he's hardly alone. I think that it's easy to give the quarterback all the accolades, but who else on this team has really stepped up and been integral in your run to 7-0?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of it has to go with our offensive and defensive line. Those guys have really stepped up. We've got a kid plays offensive tackle and guard for us when kids get hurt. Connor Strosher has really dominated on the offensive line, and we've got 2 receivers that run real well, and they can get on the ball, and Miles Mitchison and Nate Watson. So we've got a lot of contributors. I can't name them all.
Yeah, it would take time. I mean, geez, if you were to name them all, we'd be here all day, which is fine. We can be, but Coach, you've been there now. What? You've been there since 2009 was your first year, or 2008?
No, 2006.
2006. I'm sorry. 2006 was your first year. Over the course of what has now been 10 seasons, how have you seen this program change and grow?
Well, I think the biggest deal is just the confidence and the expectation of being successful. Our guys expect to win every time we step on the field, and that's easy to say, but it's hard to do, and that's a big deal for us mentally.
Absolutely. We're talking with Matt Poe, the head coach of the Pottsboro Cardinals here on DCTF Live. You're putting up crazy numbers offensively, but to me, what has set your team apart has been defense. When did you know that you would have a chance to have a really dynamic, tough defense this year?
Well, we were pretty good on defense last year, and we've got, I think there's 7 kids, 7 of our guys that are seniors now that have been playing on that defense since they were sophomores. So that experience and that senior leadership makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And now you do have. Now I don't want to make an assumption here, so you can tell me. There's a gentleman named John Poe on the team, and there's a gentleman named Blake Poe on the team. Any relation?
Yeah, actually, those are my 2 nephews, and then I have a son, Matthew Poe, that's on our team that plays receiver for us also. It's a family deal.
It's a family deal. So, and I'm always interested in this, as a coach, when does the coach stop and the uncle or father start, or is it just all blended into one?
Well, it's pretty much all blended into one, but they know when it's practice time, when we're out on that field, it's not Uncle Matt, it's Coach Poe. And it's not Dad, it's Coach Poe. I mean, they can separate the difference, and I have to separate the difference. And but it's a unique situation.
So there's never an opportunity in the locker room where, maybe they, obviously they've all been wins, but maybe one of your nephews misses a tackle, and you go up to him and say, "Listen, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed."
Well, I'm probably harder on those three guys than anybody, to be quite honest with you. So they know what my expectations are of them, for sure.
And of course, you've got football in your blood. Your father, Ron Poe, is one of the legends. He's got a stadium named after him in McKinney. What did you take from him? How much has he helped shape you into the coach that you are today?
Oh man, so many ways I really can't describe. The best deal is I think just being a leader and in that leadership role, doing things the correct way. Treating kids right and just trying to do what's right all the time.
We're talking to Matt Poe, the head coach of the 7-0 Pottsboro Cardinals here on DCTF Live. Join the conversation at #DCTF Live. And Coach, you've got you guys are 7-0, and you just mowed past a very good Callisburg squad. You've got Van Alstyne on deck, Pilot Point, and Whitesboro. No real, no pushovers coming up. How important is it for you guys to stay focused through, before playoffs and get that top seed coming out of your district?
Well, it's extremely important, to stay focused. And we talk to our young men a lot about not being complacent, about getting a little bit better every day and taking small strides to get better. We've played really well, but we're nowhere near what we can be. So we're working hard every day to get there.
You're coming off, you have got a great shot at what would be your fourth consecutive 10-win season, but it seems like you guys have gotten into the playoffs, and then, even with 10 wins, you guys will hit a wall. What's it going to take to get past that wall and get to, basically NRG Stadium and get to a state championship game?
Well, there's a lot of luck that goes in with that, but the biggest deal is keeping people healthy, and being injury free. And when you get in those big games, hopefully you've been in big games before that season that you're accustomed to that, and don't do things that beat yourself.
Absolutely. And now, Coach, I do want to ask you that I picked against you guys last week against Callisburg.
Big mistake.
So my question is, do you want me to keep picking against you?
Well, I hope that's not the determining factor in our football team, but hey, whatever you feel like, man.
Absolutely. He is Matt Poe, the head coach of the 7-0 Pottsboro Cardinals, joining us on DCTF Live. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Continued success the rest of the way.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.